There have been many debates in Wales over the years. For example, the big debate of the 2000s was Strictly or X Factor. And if you chose Strictly, then I'm sorry for you. There has been the debate of rugby and football, which is often a north and south divided subject, with the north probably preferring football, though not everywhere, and the south loving rugby. And, the south is wrong on this topic again. I'm sorry, we're going to be controversial in this episode. Okay. And there's a debate of black pudding. Is black pudding a dessert? Is it a pudding? Is it even a food? To me, it's not a food. It doesn't taste like food. It doesn't look like food. And knowing what's in this food kind of makes me want to vomit. And then lastly, we have the debate of independence for Wales. Many countries have gained independence over the last 100 or so years. Republic of Ireland, India, Hong Kong, kinda. That's for another topic. And many other countries. Yes, the age of imperialism is over. The age of empire is over, or so we hope. And Wales is probably overdue its independence. So, is it a good thing? Can independence work for Wales? Whereas we're not going to go too deeply into that question, what we are going to do is look at 3 fors and 3 against Welsh independence. And hopefully, by the end of this episode, you will come to a conclusion. And to hide any personal bias, I am in favor of independence. I will try to be as fair and balanced as I can be. So, let's jump into 5 fors and against Welsh independence. Argument 1 for Welsh independence. Cultural identity. So, proponents argue that Wales has a distinct cultural identity, with its own language, traditions, and history. Independence could allow Wales to strengthen and preserve its unique identity and share it to the world like never before, because whereas Wales already has its own history, its own unique culture, and even its own language, it's not able to share it with the world simply because it's part of the United Kingdom. The world simply knows the United Kingdom more than it knows Wales. And if a Welsh person speaks to someone in another country where Wales is not known, people are going to assume that they are British or English before they would even consider the subject of Welsh. So this is the truth. This is an argument for Welsh independence, to spread Welsh identity, to preserve Welsh identity, and to share it with the world like never before. Argument 1 against Welsh independence, the subject of economic stability. Opponents of independence often express concerns about the economic stability of an independent, sovereign Wales. They argue that Wales benefits from being part of the larger UK economy, which provides stability and access to a broader market. Whereas this is potentially true, and it's undoubted that Wales does benefit from being in a UK economy, Wales having control of its own economy does benefit it more. If you take a look at this study from the IMF nations by GDP per capita from October 2018, Wales, as an independent sovereign nation, would be the 32nd largest economy in the world, just behind Spain. Spain being a historic country with plenty to offer the world in terms of tourism, which is where Wales, as an independent country, would perhaps make a lot of its money. And you look at this study and you see that the arguments, though true to an extent, because Wales is currently part of the UK, which is the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, being 32nd in the world as such a small nation is pretty impressive. And this is how it ranks now when its economy is shared with the United Kingdom. If Wales was independent, perhaps it would be higher, perhaps it would be lower. Either way, it doesn't fare too badly for a country of its size, and it would be able to survive. It's not going to sink into the sea, no matter what people tell you. But yeah, it's still an argument against independence. Not necessarily one I agree with, but it's an argument against. Argument 2 for an independent Wales. Political autonomy. Supporters of independence often highlight the desire for greater political autonomy. They argue that decisions affecting Wales should be made by politicians elected in Wales, rather than being subject to decisions made in the UK Parliament in Westminster. This has been a key issue in Wales for a long time now. Yes, Wales is an evolved nation. It does have a Senedd, or Parliament, which controls certain aspects of life in Wales. For example, health, social care, housing, education, transport, business, economic development, social services, language, culture, the environment, local government, and a few others. But unlike Scotland and Northern Ireland, which are also devolved nations, Wales doesn't have the same level of power, and it's unable to control things like law or justice policy. In fact, justice policy is the most controversial. Wales, unlike Scotland and Northern Ireland, is not a separate legal jurisdiction with its own system of law, police, and courts. It is part of a single jurisdiction with England, which was put in place by Henry VIII during the 16th century. Henry VIII, that great friend of Wales. So this is a key issue. Wales wants to be able to control its own laws. It should have full control of its own laws. It should have full control of all aspects of Welsh life. And if Wales was further devolved, perhaps this would end some of the independence arguments. Certainly for some who are in the middle and are happy being British, but also want independence for a little bit more control. This would definitely ease their concerns. For now, it's an argument for Welsh independence because we don't have these powers. We want to have these powers, and it looks like the only way to get them is to be independent. Argument 2 against an independent Wales. Global influence. Some argue that Wales might have less global influence as an independent nation compared to its current position within the United Kingdom. The UK as a whole is often seen as a more influential player on the international stage. And, it is an influential player on the international stage, this is true, but it's also losing influence. The influence of United Kingdom has been on the wane since 2016. Can't quite imagine what happened in 2016. Anyway, Wales would lose influence as an independent nation. This is true to some extent. However, Wales does not wish to be the most influential nation on earth. It's not looking to compete with China or the United States or Japan or India or even the United Kingdom, which would exist without Wales in this scenario. It's looking to look after itself and build its own identity with the world or within the world. And in order to do this, it needs to be independent. So Wales is not looking to be a global influencer. It's not going to be the Mr. Beast of the world. It's going to be more of a Ray William Johnson, I guess. Argument 3 in favor of an independent Wales. Resource management. Some argue that Wales has valuable natural resources, and this is true. We have water and renewable energy. Independence would allow for more effective management and utilization of these resources for the benefit of the Welsh people. As said, we have a large supply of water, and throughout the century, water is expected to become more in demand. Because of Wales's mountainous terrain and ample rainfall, water is one of Wales's most abundant resources. And we have plenty of it. Just ask Liverpool. And if water is not enough to convince you, Wales also has a large supply of renewable energy. Wales leads in terms of wind, hydro, solar power, and biomass. And in addition to this, it has natural minerals too. It provides coal, slate, copper, steel, and plenty others. So, in short, Wales has plenty of resources. Currently, these resources are supplied to England and the rest of the United Kingdom, but Wales doesn't really get much out of it. If Wales is an independent nation, it's still going to be supplying these resources to the rest of the United Kingdom, but it would be supplying them at Wales's own demand, Wales's own cost, its own prices, and this would benefit Wales. Additionally, it would have more access to the global economy and would be able to transfer these resources to the rest of the world too. So, to say Wales would, again, sink into the sea, we have lots of water, so it'd be a nice sea to sink into. It's not entirely true. To conclude on this particular argument, Wales having control of its resources can only benefit it as a sovereign, independent nation. And it's one of the best arguments in favor of Wales being an independent nation. Argument 3 against an independent Wales. Security concerns. So opponents of Welsh independence often express concerns about security and defence. As part of the UK, Wales benefits from the collective defence capabilities of the British Armed Forces. Independence could require the establishment of a separate defence infrastructure. While it is true that Wales would be weaker in terms of military in an independent scenario, it's not necessarily true that Wales's security would necessarily be under threat. I mean, who is going to invade an independent Wales? Wales does not need to be involved in geopolitical wars and confrontations and so on. President Vladimir Putin of Russia, is not going to announce one day, Wales is historically part of Russia, we must invade. It's not going to happen, okay? In fact, the only country who would likely invade an independent Wales is the country who's always invaded us during our former independence, and that's England. So, to say that we would have security concerns or new security concerns is not necessarily true. Wales would not be significant enough on the world global stage to cause any kind of problems for anyone else. Additionally, an independent Wales would likely still be an ally of the United Kingdom or England, and many of the allies who are aligned with the United Kingdom today, such as the United States. It's not going to be a problem for the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is not going to be a problem for Wales, because who would really care? Like I said, the only country to have invaded Wales is England, and that's all we can say on that matter. So this concludes 3 arguments for and 3 arguments against an independent Wales. I said before the video began that I was going to remain relatively impartial, and I can see that I didn't do that. And that's because I believe in an independent Wales, and though I tried, and you have to forgive me, I tried very hard to be impartial. It's just very difficult for me to do because I can see more arguments for an independent Wales than against. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. If you wish to subscribe to our channel, please do. Additionally, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Welsh Histories. Also, facebook.com/The Collective History page. And on Instagram too, where we are instagram.com/The Collective Histories. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a pleasant evening. Goodbye.